In the heart of a small village, nestled between rolling hills and lush green fields, there lived a humble potter named Kofi. He was a hardworking man, but fate had not been kind to him. Every morning, dressed in his worn out clothes, he would knead the clay, shape it into pots, and carefully bake them in the scorching heat of his kiln. He would then load them onto his only companion, his loyal donkey, Tambo, and set out for the market in the nearby city to sell them. Tambo was more than just a beast of burden. He was Kofi's friend, his confidant in times of despair. The villagers often chuckled at the way Kofi spoke to Tambo, sharing his joys and sorrows as if the donkey could truly understand him. But for Kofi, Tambo was the only one who listened without judgment. Despite his hard work, Kofi barely earned enough to survive. Each day was a battle to make ends meet. Some days he sold all his pots and returned with a few coins, but on others, he came back empty-handed, his stomach grumbling with hunger. Yet through all his struggles, he never lost hope. One fateful evening, as Kofi returned from the market, he noticed an unusual silence in the village. The streets, usually bustling with people, were deserted. A group of villagers stood huddled together, whispering anxiously. "What happened?" Kofi asked. "A lion," an old man replied, his voice trembling. "A man-eating lion has been spotted near the forest. It has already attacked several travelers. No one dares to go near the woods now." Kofi felt a chill run down his spine. The only path to the city was through that very forest. If he couldn't sell his pots, he and Tambo would have nothing to eat. He looked at his donkey, who stood beside him, munching on a few dry leaves, oblivious to the danger that lurked ahead. "I have no choice," Kofi murmured to himself. "If I don't go, we will starve." That night, he barely slept. The thought of the lion haunted him. But when dawn broke, he gathered his courage, loaded his pots onto Tambo, and set out for the city, hoping fate would protect them. As they entered the forest, a heavy silence enveloped them. The towering trees blocked most of the sunlight, casting eerie shadows on the narrow path. Every rustle of leaves made Kofi's heart race. "Stay close, Tambo," he whispered. Tambo flicked his ears, sensing his master's nervousness. He, too, felt that something was not right, but they pressed on, their footsteps muffled by the soft earth beneath them. Hours passed, and finally they reached the city. Kofi sold all his pots that day, earning more than usual. Perhaps the villagers had been too scared to travel, leaving less competition for him. With his pockets heavier than usual, he bought some extra food for himself and Tambo, rewarding his friend with juicy carrots. As they began their journey back, darkness crept over the land. The forest, which had been intimidating in daylight, now felt like a never-ending abyss of shadows. The distant hoot of an owl and the rustling of unseen creatures made Kofi shiver. Tambo suddenly stopped in his tracks, his ears perked up. "What is it, Tambo?" Kofi whispered, feeling a sense of unease. And then it happened. A low, guttural growl echoed through the trees. Kofi's heart pounded as a massive lion emerged from the darkness. Its eyes glowed like embers, and its powerful muscles rippled beneath its golden fur. The beast let out a deafening roar, making Kofi stumble backward in terror. Tambo reared up, his eyes wide with fear. The lion crouched, ready to pounce. Kofi knew he had no weapon to defend himself. He was just a poor potter. What could he do against a beast of such power? As the lion lunged forward, Tambo did something unexpected. With all his might, he kicked his hind legs back, striking the lion square in the chest. The impact sent the lion stumbling, surprised by the sudden resistance. The lion snarled, enraged, and attacked again. But Tambo was not ready to give up. He spun around, dodging the sharp claws, and kicked again, this time hitting the lion's face. The beast roared in pain, shaking its head. Kofi could only watch in awe as his faithful donkey fought like a warrior. Every time the lion lunged, Tambo countered with powerful kicks, refusing to back down. The battle continued, the forest echoing with growls, brays, and the sounds of hooves striking flesh. Finally, the lion, realizing that this was no ordinary prey, let out a final snarl and retreated into the darkness. For a long moment, Kofi stood frozen. Then he rushed to Tambo, wrapping his arms around his loyal friend. "You saved my life," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. "I owe you everything." Tambo nuzzled his master as if to say, "I would do it again." When Kofi and Tambo reached the village, the villagers gathered around, eager to hear their tale. When Kofi recounted how his donkey had fought off the ferocious lion, gasps of astonishment filled the air. Tambo is no ordinary donkey, one man exclaimed. He is a hero, another declared. News of Tambo's bravery spread like wildfire. People from neighboring villages came to see the fearless donkey and hear the tale of his courage. Some even offered Kofi money for Tambo, but he refused every offer. Tambo is not for sale, he said firmly. He is my family. With his newfound fame, Kofi's fortune changed. His pots became highly sought after, for people believed they carried the luck of the brave potter and his fearless donkey. No longer did he struggle for food or money. He and Tambo lived comfortably, their bond stronger than ever. As years passed, Kofi and Tambo remained inseparable. Though time aged them, their story lived on, told to children as a lesson in bravery and loyalty. This tale teaches us that courage is not measured by strength, but by the will to fight for those we love. Even the weakest among us can stand against great odds if we refuse to give up. And sometimes, fate works in unexpected ways, turning struggles into victories, fear into triumph, and the humblest of beings into heroes. For in the heart of every challenge lies the chance for greatness, just as in the heart of a simple donkey lay the spirit of a lion. And so the legend of Kofi and Tambo was passed down through generations, a reminder that fate favors the brave.